Good morning. I'm going to read from Al Gore's book, Earth in Balance. To some, the environmental global crisis is primarily a crisis of values. In this view, the basic cause of the problem is that we as a civilization base our decisions about how to relate to the environment on premises that are fundamentally unethical. And since religion has traditionally been the most powerful source of ethical guidance for our civilization, the search for villains has led to the doorstep of the major religious systems. Here in the West, some have charged inaccurately, I believe, that Judeo-Christian tradition chartered the relentless march of civilization to dominate nature, beginning with the creation story of Genesis, in which humankind is granted dominion over the earth. In its basic form, the charge is that our tradition assigns divine purpose to our exercise of virtually complete power to work our will over nature. It is alleged that by endowing human beings with a completely unique relationship to God, and then delegating God's authority over nature to human beings, the tradition sanctions as ethical all choices that put a higher priority on human needs and desires, higher than the rest of nature. Simply put, according to this view, it is ethical to make sure that whenever nature gets in the way of what we want, nature loses. But this is a cartoon version of the Judeo-Christian tradition, one that bears little resemblance to the reality. Critics attack religion for inspiring an arrogant and reckless attitude toward nature, but they have not always read the relevant texts carefully enough. Although it is certainly true that our civilization is built on the premise that we can use nature for our own ends without regard to the impact we have on it, it is not fair to charge any of the major world religions with promoting this dangerous attitude. Indeed, all of them mandate an ethical responsibility to protect and care for the well-being of the natural world. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, the biblical concept of dominion is quite different than the concept of domination. And this difference is crucial. Specifically, followers of this tradition are charged with the duty of stewardship, because the same biblical passage that grants them dominion also requires them to care for the earth, even as they work it. The requirement of stewardship and its grant of dominion are not in conflict. In recognizing the sacredness of creation, believers are called upon to remember that even as they till the earth, they must also keep it. Al Gore now talks of his personal experience. In my own religious training, I am Baptist. The duty to care for the earth is rooted in the fundamental relationship between God, creation, and humankind. In the book of Genesis, Judaism first taught that after God created the earth, God saw that it was good. In the 24th Psalm, we learn that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. In other words, God is pleased with creation, and dominion does not mean that the earth belongs to humankind. On the contrary, whatever is done to the earth must be done with an awareness that it belongs to God. My tradition, he goes on, also teaches that the purpose of life is to glorify God. And there is a shared conviction within the Judeo-Christian tradition that believers are expected to do justice, love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. But whatever verses are selected in an effort to lend precision to the Judeo-Christian definition of life's purpose, that purpose is clearly inconsistent with the reckless destruction of that which belongs to God and which God has seen as good. How can one glorify the Creator while heaping contempt on creation? How can one walk humbly with nature's God while wreaking havoc on nature?
Thank you, Dawn. We'll continue now with our meditation song. And it is found on page 85 of the songbook. It's Hallelujah. Any special instructions for us on this?
Maybe we'll do it 5 or 6 times, and at the last time we'll do it no piano. So that one notes ending, we'll do no piano.
All right. And then that will be followed by Rod Rodriguez leading our meditation.
Let's sit back in our chair. Find that comfortable spot. And relax our body. And we're going to remove our brains from our true identity this morning. And for the body, we start getting comfortable. We stretch out those kinks. And begin the first of 3 deep breaths. Now at your own pace, breathe in, fill those lungs. Now take just a little bit more. And slowly exhale. Let it come to the end. And push a little bit more out. Now we're going to do that 2 more times. And with each breath, we feel the body getting lighter and lighter. As we feel a space of comfort and quiet the ego brain rushes in to fill that space with busy thoughts. So allow them. Let them come in, but pay no attention to them. And you may ask yourself, where do I truly need to be? What do I truly need to do? And the answer to that, of course, is nothing. We need do nothing. As this truth settles in, that portal which rests between our brain and time and space, and that space, and without the eternity and wholeness, that portal begins to expand, and we feel ourselves moving through it, and it is safe, it is warm and comforting, and we feel ourselves smile without a face. And we have arrived. There are no more boundaries. There are no more Rods or Sallys, Alessandras, Mohammeds, because there's no more bodies. There's no names. There's no ethnic groups. There is no distance. There is no time. And there is no fear. So many of those old fears were attached to that body. What does it look like? I need to make that mortgage payment to house that body. I need to buy the right clothes and the right food to keep it healthy. But here, there's no limits, and it feels so good. As we sink deeper into the peace and love, the consciousness of true self begins to emerge. We no longer have edges or occupy space. Our consciousness just expands, and so senses the presence of itself as it melds into a greater expression of love, a greater expression of peace, a greater expression of wholeness. The truth is revealed. There are no others. There is only the whole. To love another is to love oneself. We are one in eternity.